How was growing up in Singapore, like in the 90s and 2000s?
The expat community was smaller, and I guess what we're all now quite spoiled of all the choices as like expats with like Western food and all these other like international cuisines. Like, there's just so much, right? There's Amoy Street, there's Kyongsek, there's I don't know, there's MBS. Like, there's just so much international options if we wanted to, as well as like bars or pubs. Back then, it was just Harry's pretty much, which still exists apparently. There's one in Vivo. So I guess when I'd go with my friends and their parents, they'd all bring us to Harry's. I guess if you wanted sushi, it would just be Sushi Tei. There wasn't all these like 7, 9 different or 20 different types that we have now. So the food scene definitely was much smaller back then. I guess when you're younger, it doesn't really matter. Expat areas were more like Holland Village, Orchard Road, because Vivo City didn't exist, Marina Bay Sands didn't exist, Universals didn't exist. Yeah, Vivo City did not exist. So all these places where kids now hang out. And to be fair, Vivo City opened, I think, when I was 11. So that was like a hangout spot for me. And I think Universals was when I was 15 or 16. So that was my first theme park that I actually went to. That was my first roller coaster. I was terrified. My friends put me on the Cyclone, which is like the worst out of them all in the first round. But I feel like as a child growing up here, maybe because I was growing with Singapore, I still got to experience everything that someone abroad did. And in my mind now, I look back, I'm like, okay, wow, there were perks still when Singapore wasn't so developed. But genuinely speaking, first of all, it was just so safe. My parents weren't scared at all. You know, I was 10 and I was just taking a bus, or you could genuinely walk out on the streets at 11 p.m. with another friend and you're 12 and nothing happens to you. So from a safety perspective, it was amazing.
Do you feel like Singapore was more strict back then and now it's like getting more like liberalized?
Different. I guess if we start looking at things like, more progressive in terms, the most recent act with the whole
377A.
377A, yeah, exactly. So stuff like that, of course, you look back in the 90s, it would just be like, no way, So I guess, like you said, from that angle, being more acceptive of people from different backgrounds, different orientations, like they definitely are progressing. Genuinely speaking, from like a crime aspect, I guess, I feel like they were more strict back then. Like they go through phases. There was a phase where they were really fixated on stopping people chewing gum, as an example. Now, I haven't seen anyone chewing gum. Maybe that's because that phase has just ended, but they were really fixated on fixing that. Or there'd be a year where they were really fixated on littering. I guess they take every year and maybe they have meetings on what they want to sort of fix. I still think they're strict. It's just they're a bit more progressive on inclusivity, I guess. They're more open to people from different nationalities. Also, whether you're gay or straight, you could still come and work in Singapore.
Do you feel local or do you feel more like foreigner?
I would say I feel local. Just growing up, I would actually only eat chicken rice when I'm out. And then also people ask me, oh, what's your hangover fix, right? Everyone's burger or whatever, and I'm like, I'm actually, chicken rice or wonton mee, or so I guess these little things. And because I've been here my whole life. Home is Singapore. I wouldn't necessarily say it's Russia just because I've never lived there.
From the let's say local perspective, if someone is coming to Singapore, what would be the 3 top places they should visit? Maybe not so obvious ones, not like the Gardens by the Bay or MBS, something like maybe more unique.
It depends on what the person's doing, if they're active. So you could actually go kayaking in the wetlands of Singapore up in the north. There's a few different spots, and don't ask me the names because I forgot already. Yeah. But it's very easily Googleable. And I remember doing that during COVID, because during COVID we were kind of stuck here, right? So that's when I started thinking, okay, outside the box, what can I do that will not make me feel so trapped? So yeah, I was doing these kayaking trips that were absolutely amazing. It does not look like Singapore at all. It looks like something completely different. I guess also everyone's so fixated on, Botanic Gardens or Makrichi. If you go to like Bukit Park or Dairy Farm Park, all those parks as well, Bukit Batok Nature Reserve, I guess maybe I'm a bit biased because I grew up there, but they're beautiful. There's these like massive rocks, and they're like orange, and then there's like a quarry. It's just all really, again, not necessarily what people would look for when they come to Singapore. Or again, if you're a bit more sporty, to like cycle from East Coast Park all the way to like Little Island Brewery. It's like a 50-kilometer cycle. I know it's long, but there and back to the start. But all these like little things that I guess if you're active, there's actually so much more to do than just, like you said, walk in Sentosa. There's a lot of difference. Or you could even hike coast to coast, 36 kilometers of Singapore.
Can you recall any like crazy stories that happened with you, like in Singapore?
I guess a crazy story from school, which didn't necessarily happen to me. Expat kids were also very crazy back then. Someone jumped off the bridge in Clarke Quay. Yeah, that's kind of crazy because it's just
And what happened?
oh, nothing. He just, I think he just got arrested and given a warning. On that note, so changes in nightlife in Singapore. Clarke Quay used to be the hotspot in Singapore to go out, and now it's not anymore. I mean, when was the last time you went to Clarke Quay?
I think after COVID it's really slowed down.
Not even after COVID. I feel like as soon as MBS was built, other like places to go. That's the thing about Singapore, right? They always repurpose things. Or like new things get built, then that's sort of not cool anymore. Or so the St. James Powerhouse, that used to be all nightclubs. Now it's Dyson's headquarters. So it's just like all these things. I guess maybe why I can't think of a crazy story off the top of my head is because there's no seasons in Singapore. Very hard to pinpoint memories sometimes because it all just blurs into one.
Is there anything that you don't like about Singapore, or maybe you still not get used to?
The heat. That's the one thing I cannot get used to, the heat in Singapore, and it's just not friendly to my hair. Despite the fact of being born here, every time when it's humid, my hair just like frizzes up.
Yeah.